Hello and welcome back to another video. You don't have to wait too long luckily this time, and this is a tutorial video, my first I'm pretty sure, and it's about welds, something which I'd like to do more often and I don't really do a lot, but it enhances the build a lot. For context, if you realise that this is in a different setting and maybe it looks a bit worse than my current standard of work, is because this kit, or at least this, was recorded on the 27th of January 2024, so over 1.5 years ago. But I've just been holding it back for some reason, I don't know why, but here we are. I've finally decided to do it. But let's get on to the tutorial. So you want some putty, ideally green stuff or Tamiya basic type, I'm pretty sure. Yep. And you need to knead it out as it tells you, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, until it's all one solid colour, green in the case of green stuff. Then you want to also have a scribing tool, which I didn't have here, so I just used a knife, so it looks a bit subpar. But you want to then make little, let's call them trenches, for the welds to go into. And as you can see, I'm struggling a lot in this video. Also, having wet fingers or whatever tool you're using helps, because then it doesn't stick to it and you won't rip it off like I did a multiple amount of times. Then after you've made the holes for it, or the trenches, tunnels, whatever, you want to then, well, fill them with the putty you have. This can be a tedious task, especially on something as large as, for example, this Model Collect E100, which shamefully, I must admit, it's still sitting just primed. No work has been really done since the last video recording you'll see, which was also recorded on the same day, 27th of January 2024. But I might have to get onto that one soon, as I have a interesting idea for it. Nevertheless, you have to try filling it as well as you can, and as I said, wet fingers or wet tools help, as here they're not wet and I just keep on ripping it off and not actually making it adhere to the model. On a vehicle like this, an E100, which is a what if, you don't really need to focus on any historical accuracy, and since it's a 100-ton tank, basically, you want to make it look as heavy as you can with all these welds, so that's what I kind of tried. And well, as the as the title says, it's for dummies like me. But yeah, here you can either use special tools that you made or anything. I just used a knife because at the time I didn't have any tools or anything, and you just want to make the actual weld marks. Most of these in real life would be rounded off a C shape. Most of you have probably seen it on Night Shift or AFV Studio or anyone else's. They just use the soda can, whatever, with the C shape. I didn't have that, so yeah. But you want to make little engravements to show the welds where they were actually welded. And well, looking back at it, I was very, well, my skills weren't as good as they are now, let's say. Although I haven't, learnt too much, I'd say. But it is what it is. You can also see uneven parts like the one I'm doing right here, and you probably don't want that. I didn't really think of it 1.5 years ago, because if you think of it, this was actually a few months after I started YouTube, so I wasn't actually thinking on making a video, but just recorded it because why not. And well, here it is after some efforts were put in. I done the whole, hull, looking a bit 50-50, not the best. Then I also done the turret with the cupola and so on. It looks decent, but not something I'd be happy of now. And I hope that you've learnt something from this video, so please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and goodbye, see you in the next one.